It's pretty wild, but when massive operational improvement projects completely fall apart, it's almost never because of bad math. We kind of assume that optimizing a business is all about crunching the right numbers, right? But actually, the vast majority of these projects tank because of the human factor. We're talking organizational resistance, passive cultural sabotage, and management just checking out. It's an incredible paradox. We literally use the most advanced statistics on the planet, only to get tripped up by basic human nature.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the DMAIC methodology. If you want to think about it this way, DMAIC is basically the medical science of business optimization. It stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. As the absolute backbone of Six Sigma and Lean, it's a highly structured, data-driven roadmap. It doesn't just guess at what's wrong with a business, it scientifically diagnoses the failures, wipes out inefficiencies, and, crucially, locks those cures in so they actually last over the long term.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. 1. What exactly is the DMAIC method? 2. The 5 implementation phases. 3. Key tools used by phase. 4. Why these projects so often fail. And 5. A conclusion on the future of operational excellence. All right, let's dive right into Section 1. What is the DMAIC method? The entire conceptual framework of Six Sigma and DMAIC boils down to this one fundamental transfer equation, y equals f of x. Let's stick with that medical metaphor for a second. Y is your output variable. It's the symptom, the headache, the crazy high lead times, the raw material waste, whatever your error rate happens to be. The x variables, those are your independent inputs. They're the lifestyle factors, the actual root causes and process parameters interacting to give you that headache. The whole goal of DMAIC is to figure out exactly which x is causing your y. Now, a single process might have hundreds of potential variables. So DMAIC is a scientific hunt to isolate what quality engineers call the vital few. We don't want to tweak things based on a gut feeling or some random brainstorming session. We want to statistically quantify exactly which critical inputs dictate how the process behaves. Once we nail down those vital few, we can minimize deviation and elevate the whole system to a 6 sigma quality level. And mathematically, that means no more than 3.4 defects per million opportunities. Crazy, right?
Moving on to Section 2, the 5 implementation phases.
Success here relies entirely on the strict discipline of following these 5 sequential steps. First up, define. This is where you accurately map out the problem's scope. Second, measure, establishing a rock-solid quantitative baseline of where you currently stand. Third, analyze, scientifically validating the true root causes of your variability. Fourth, improve, designing and piloting solutions that actually target those specific causes. And lastly, control, institutionalizing the improvements so the system doesn't just slide backward. Let's look at what this looks like in the real world. Check out this 2025 case study by Deepak and his colleagues. It brilliantly illustrates the Analyse phase in action. A manufacturing team tackled a major crankshaft rejection problem. By breaking down the defects and applying the Pareto principle, the classic 80-20 rule, they found out that out of all the possible things going wrong, just 3 specific defects caused nearly 85% of all rejections: pitting, insufficient length, and underfilling. Boom, they found their vital few. And here is the payoff. After designing targeted interventions in the improve phase, stuff like rigorous preventive maintenance and standardizing machine parameters, they moved into the control phase. They didn't just put a Band-Aid on it, they institutionalized the new training and lubrication routines. This dropped their initial rejection rate of 3.04% all the way down to a sustained 1.88%. When you translate that to the bottom line, that is a massive win. Which leads us nicely into Section 3, key tools by phase. Let's see how we actually run this diagnosis. Think of these statistical tools as the lab tests that prove your diagnosis beyond a shadow of a doubt. In the define phase, you might use a SIPOC diagram to clearly map the process boundaries so you completely avoid scope creep. In the measure phase, you're calculating CPK, that's a process capability index, to see if your system naturally meets customer tolerances. And in the analyze phase, you hit them with ANOVA, or analysis of variance. This statistically proves which root causes actually matter, rejecting false assumptions with pure mathematical certainty. Now, the whole reason we use these heavy-duty tools is for the financial ROI. When you pitch a DMAIC project, leadership wants to see transparent financial breakdowns.
you have to clearly distinguish between hard savings, those are the visible cash outflow reductions right on your P&L, like slashing material waste, and soft savings, which are the productivity improvements that free up your operational capacity. A well-structured project typically reports an ROI ranging from 200% to a whopping 500% in its very first stabilized year. So with returns like that, you've got to wonder why everyone isn't doing this perfectly, right? Let's pivot to Section 4. Why projects fail. Honestly ask yourself, do your organizational processes currently run on hard data, or do they run on gut intuition? Because here's the thing, even if you have the perfect medicine and absolute mathematical rigor, if the patient flat out refuses to take the pills, the treatment is going to fail. When we dig into the root causes of failure, the picture is so clear. The biggest killer of improvement projects is the human factor. It's cultural friction. It's that psychological resistance to changing how we've always done things. It's also analysis paralysis, spending way too much time hunting for perfect data. But honestly, the deadliest sin is abandoning the control phase prematurely. So many companies celebrate a big financial win right after the improve stage, skip standardizing the new procedures, and 6 months later, the process has completely reverted right back to its original, inefficient baseline. And that brings us to Section 5, Conclusion and Next Step. Let's talk about the future of operational excellence. The future of all this is DMAIC 4.0. We are moving way beyond manual clipboards and static spreadsheets. By integrating the Internet of Things, we can place smart sensors to automatically capture real-time variables, basically eradicating human bias in the measure phase. And in the Analyse phase, big data and machine learning algorithms can instantly spot hidden, nonlinear microcauses that a human inspector would never catch. We're shifting from just reacting to failures to literally predicting them before they ever happen on the line. I want to leave you with this final thought. Optimization never stops. The true challenge is sustaining the cure indefinitely. DMAIC isn't just a one-and-done project. It's a permanent cultural shift toward data-driven excellence. If you found this explainer valuable and want to master more frameworks that drive real business results, definitely hit that subscribe button to join the channel. We've got plenty more powerful visual guides coming your way. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.